Fuck this team, bro.
Oh, man.
Yeah, welcome to the 5 Read Sports Postgame Show, aka the Post Up. I'm the host, Royal. And I'm here with Gad, Ariel, Brian, and the OG Alfredo. Fellas, this shit was terrible. Okay, this was bad. This is bad. Not outside of the realm of possibility, but definitely one of the worst outings that we've seen in this franchise's history in terms of playoff basketball. Especially that first quarter. That first quarter was a disaster, and it set the tone for the rest of the game. So we couldn't even finish watching this shit. Like I wasn't gonna waste my time like watching the rest of this game before we got this over with. So, Gad, you missed the last game because you were having fun at Disney World, the only place that the Heat can be successful in the fucking playoffs.
Mickey Mouse.
You know it. What did you think of this bullshit that we're still currently watching?
I think we should have sat Dwayne Dedmon earlier because he was easily our best player on the floor alongside with Goran Dragic, and we were playing him way too long. But no, in all reality, this was just brutal from the start. This team is soft as hell. Jimmy didn't show up. Bam didn't show up. The only players who really showed up were Goran and Dedmon, which is crazy to say, but we're at that point. It's been brutal. I'm upset. It's the good thing is it's 2-0. I mean, it's not like we just got swept, but we might as well be on our way to it.
Bro, we were watching Chikezi Okpala play in a basketball game in the fucking playoffs, bro. I'm still watching it. This has been disastrous, and Alfredo's probably going to get me back on track with some kind of logic, but I don't want to hear from him right now. So I'm going to Brian. Brian, what?
Yeah. This was a nightmare scenario. Say in last game, the Bucks won by 2 and had 15 less threes, which is a 45-point swing, right? Generally, if you have a 45-point difference from the three-point line, you don't win those games. This game, it was flipped, and the Bucks are up by, last I checked, 30. You can't win that way. We've talked all season about how the Heat cannot play these really low-scoring games and expect to win in the modern NBA. And it kind of just feels like the regular season team, right? Last game, they looked like they could be competitive with one of the best teams in the league. In this game, they get smacked, right? It's more of the same, and that's incredibly disappointing considering what this team did last year and the fact that it's the fucking playoffs. You expect them to play better than an inconsistent regular season team, but that's what it looks like they are. Hopefully that changes. As of now, it doesn't look good.
Yeah. Thank you, Talking Movies, for the $2.99 donation. He says, sick of us treating Lopez like prime Ben Wallace.
Better.
We're terrified of him. Yeah. We're terrified of him, bro. Like he is dominating this game defensively. We are not attacking him at all. We're doing everything we can to steer clear of this man, and we can't get shit offensively because of it. Ariel, go ahead. Your turn to talk.
I don't have any analysis. I don't have any X's and O's. I don't have any of that. All I saw today was a lot of what we've seen, like Brian was alluding to, throughout the regular season, where this team, sometimes would show up, compete with the best teams, bring their A game, and be absolutely, like a lot like last year's team. And then they would have games where, they just come out without the focus, without the energy, the competitive disposition, all the stuff you need to bring to consistently win basketball games in the NBA. They've displayed that inconsistent effort. They don't play with that competitive disposition. It happened tonight. The Bucks got to every loose ball early. The Bucks came out and punched the Heat in the mouth. And frankly, Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo gave the Heat next to nothing. I thought Bam was a little bit better today, but I'm kind of looking at Jimmy and feeling like you need to give us a little bit more here. Like, you're supposed to be the leader of this team, and he can't cover up for everything. He doesn't cover up all of the missed, all the bad closeouts or the missed defensive rotations or the inability to get to loose balls on the boards and all of that stuff. But it just never felt like he got into this game at any point. He didn't give the team what they needed, and I feel like a lot of it has to fall on him. Blame goes all the way around, but I'm looking at Jimmy and Bam and saying, you guys are supposed to carry the team right now. This is your time. It's the playoffs, and they didn't do it.
Yeah, so I think Bam's performance last game kind of stuck out more, but Jimmy hasn't played well in either of these games either. Like he has not been even a close facsimile to what he was during the regular season. Thank you, Ravi Patel, for the $5 donation. He said, I know Bam has been awful, but where is Jimmy? He didn't set the tone that this is a must-win game. And that's absolutely the point that Ariel was making. Jimmy Butler had 10 points tonight. That cannot happen. In any game, in any series, we cannot win like that. So, Alfredo, you're a professional. I'm going to use a professional term. The Heat got a good old-fashioned ass kicking today, and that's as professional as I can make that. Are we overreacting to what we're seeing, or, you know what I mean, is there some legitimacy, or was it just like the Bucks getting hot from three? What was it tonight that got our ass tore up like this?
It's a little bit of everything, really. Sometimes you get blitz like that in the first quarter, and even in the playoffs. Sometimes you get blitz like that, but you're actually playing basketball, and you're down 15 after one. And you could chisel your way back into the game, and maybe you could pull it out in the fourth quarter. Maybe you make a run. Maybe you even pull away. It happened last year. There was a game where they were down 18 to the Bucks, and they ended up winning by 14 in that series. So, yes, if you get blitz like they did, they give up, 12 threes in the first quarter? Mm-hmm. Like, that's ridiculous. 46 points, but you got 20 of your own. They had no offense. But they have no offense because nobody set a screen. And then you're giving up everything on the offensive end, on the defensive end. Like offensive rebounds, yeah, you're going to give them up when you don't block anybody out, when you show no physicality, when you dribble into Brook Lopez's chest and you think you got Akeem Olajuwon down there. No, go right into his chest and get a couple of free throws. But no, this team, they got blitzed. They got down, and then they really just showed no physicality until about midway through the third quarter, and by that point, the game was over. And Eric Reed said something, that I thought was poignant. He says, you never see when a game is over by the first quarter in the NBA playoffs, and this was one of those games where it was over in the first quarter.
Simba, you got any excuses or reasons that Miami got foots put in their ass tonight?
Any excuses? I don't know, man. This it came out soft, man. This is what we got. We deserved it. This is what we've been playing like all year, like inconsistent. Like I know that we're all surprised that we came out like this in the game, but like if you look at what we've done for the most of the year, this is kind of what it is, like playing inconsistent. There's a lot of games that were super important that we as fans thought was super important, but the team just let go of, and it was just like they didn't care half the time. There was a lot of games. You can point to so many games during the season that felt like nobody cared. And that was how the beginning of this game felt. It was just like there was no intensity. There was no it was like, oh, we'll get it. Don't worry. Like, look at the rebounds. I mean, rebounds is effort, right? Like we always say that. Like getting rebounds is all about effort. Like nobody got rebounds. Like we had Dwayne Dedmon and Bam under the basket, and none of them got a rebound. And I think like Pat Connaughton came out with a rebound. That's how this game felt the whole way.
So I know everybody said there's no one person that we can blame. We're gonna fucking pick people to blame. So everybody pick one person to blame. Talk about how terrible their game was. I'm pretty sure you can't find any positives. Gad, start with you. Who, in your opinion, was the worst looking player on the floor? Oh, I'm sorry, Jeff. Jeff 305. Thank you for the $5 donation. He said if anyone thinks the answer for this team is signing 37-year-olds to 25+ mil a year, we are sadly mistaken. This team doesn't look like it has an answer. Thank you, D, for the $2 donation. He said, did Jimmy play? No, he did not. Gad, pick a player and blame them.
I'm going to start right there. Jimmy Butler. This man did not play in the game that we needed to win to avoid a series against the Bucks. And for whatever reason, he was injured. I don't know exactly the logistics of it. I don't care. He didn't play in that game. He wasn't there. He wasn't able to contribute to the team. And then he comes back before the series. He says, I'll ride with my guys, rah, whatever. I'm stupidly locked in. Locked into what, Jimmy Butler? You have gone, 8 of 32 to start the playoffs, and you're a guy that predominantly takes layups? Like, there has been a leadership that Jimmy Butler has brought and a fire that Jimmy Butler has brought every single night, and it looks like not winning that game in game one just took it right out of him. He didn't have it from the jump tonight, and it was Bam that was pressing early on, trying to make things happen. Jimmy did not do anything on really either end, in my opinion. It was very, very frustrating to watch. And I'm a guy that's been rooting for Jimmy Butler. I love what he brings in terms of the intangibles and all that good stuff. But you cannot show up in a virtually must-win game because you don't want to be down 2-0 and give the Bucks that mental edge You do not want to show up soft as hell when you are a grit and grind type player. You can't do that. This man showed up like a fucking pillow, and he just laid down and got absolutely destroyed by the Bucks. And he's the start of it. Like, Jimmy Butler has been the spear of this, the head of this team's spear the entire year, and he absolutely folded today. And he's going to need to show up in game 3 because, I mean, it still is a series. There's still 2 games left to play. But tonight, I think Jimmy, you can give blame to a bunch of other people, but Jimmy was frustrating as hell. He was the opposite of stupidly locked in. He was just stupid as shit.
So we got a couple of donos. Thank you, HM, for the $5 dono. Gad hopes you're having a good night, even though you're probably not. Soft is the word of the year. He said, I agree. Soft is baby shit. No fight. Bam still passive as fuck. Jimmy not on the gas like last year. A total shit show. Y'all know shit show is what I like to call games like this. Thank you, Jason Adeboale, for the $4.99 dono. He said, oh, y'all want to talk about Bam not grabbing boards now? When I was saying this, Ariel was saying it didn't matter because Bam is always on the perimeter. Don't worry. I'm going to make shut up, Ariel. I'm going to make Ariel talk about Bam. Thank you, Devin Jordan, for the $4.99 dono. He said, it's about time the Heat fans to have an uncomfortable talk about Jimmy Butler. I don't know what you want us to say. He's been the best player on our team all year long, and he's just having a rough playoff right now. But Ariel, you get to talk about Bam, and you can address that comment that was pointed in your direction.
So let me just open up the comments so I can see exactly. Okay. So first of all, I never would ever say that rebounding does not matter. It matters. I don't think it's the most important part of basketball, but it certainly matters. However, he's going to naturally grab less rebounds because he's always having to switch out onto the perimeter to cover up for the Heat's guards who can't stay in front of anybody. So naturally, he's going to be further away from the basket. Maybe that's what I said, and you might have misconflated. I never said that it doesn't matter that he doesn't grab rebounds. Where do I even go with this, man? I am so distraught over this game. Look, I thought Bam came out and, you know, like Gad said, he tried to get into the flow of the game. He missed his first few shots, but, you know, I thought there was some impact there. But I mean, like, it's not a game where any one player, Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler, would have won this game for the Heat by playing exceptionally well. The Bucks came out and kicked them in the teeth. They blasted the Heat. They never really had a chance. I don't really know what to say about Bam. I think this is a really tough matchup for him. The Bucks have a ton of length and size at the positions at the guys that are guarding Bam. So tough matchup for him. I don't really know where to go with this, to be honest with you guys. They got punched in the mouth. I thought Bam was kind of just okay, but okay is not enough in a game like this.
I thought he was soft as hell too, if I'm being completely honest with you. Like, there's no fight. Like, the Heat is just, like, the Heat culture is fight. And the only dude that was out there talking mad shit and getting in people's faces, whatever, was Dwayne Dedmon. And Dwayne Dedmon is the shortest tenured player on the Heat outside of Omer Yurtseven.
Yeah, that
is extremely disappointing coming from where this team was last year.
It's also unacceptable. Hold on, guys. Before I let you continue, Ariel, I got 4 donos to read. So thank you, Jason Adeboale, for the $4.99 dono. He said, I don't care if he's on the halfway line the whole game finishing the game with 3. I'm done lost the dono now. Shit. There we go. I don't care if he's on the halfway line the whole game finishing the game with 3 rebounds is a problem.
Let me say something to that real quick, because this is a point I wanted to make and it kind of slipped my mind. Part of the reason that he's not going to have a lot of rebounds in a game like this is in the minutes that he was out there, most specifically early on in the game, in the first quarter and in the third quarter, the Bucks absolutely blitzed the Heat. There are no rebounds to be had. The Bucks made everything. So don't look at the rebounding totals in a game like this and say, oh, well, look, he needs to have more rebounds. There aren't rebounds for him to grab.
Also, let me just add that I don't know what you mean by if Bam is at the halfway or I guess the half court line, you want him to grab rebounds. Like, how is that possible? If he's not near the rim, you can't grab a rebound.
Exactly. That's what I was my point.
I mean, not only that, but we got to keep in mind that, like, again, with sports, physics and biology matters. Bam is 6'9". He's super athletic, but even if he's in there, if he's contesting rebounds against guys that are 7 feet tall, like, what do you expect to happen? We've all played basketball. It's really easy to rebound against guys that are literally smaller than you, right? So I think that we have to take that into account, right? I mean, again, there's other factors, timing, comes into it, but at a certain point, there's not much that you can do.
Alfredo, you wanted to jump in here?
Yeah, look, I just got my phone, and all I did was just look up Bam Adebayo basketball reference, all right? And not to give this guy an education, whoever that was that that got into our comments, but total rebound percentage for Bam Adebayo for his last 4 years. I'm going to go chronologically from his first year to his last. All right. It's 15.6, 16.6, 17.0, 15.3. There's a drop, right? But then you go over to offensive win shares, and it went up an entire point in a year. That explains the entire point in total rebound percentage. So learn the game, dipshit.
Yeah, let's go, Alfredo.
There we go. Oh yeah, we're all about the education on this program and calling people dipshits when they make ridiculous comments.
You ask somebody to do more on offense, rebounds are going to go down. It happens.
Yeah, he's facilitating. He's shooting mid-range jumpers. Like, he's doing a lot.
Missing them all tonight.
That's what the fuck he was doing for real. Thank you, Anthony Villamil, for the $4.99. Don't know. He said Jimmy can't get to the basket when Bam is allowing Lopez to play 6 feet off of him, and camp in the lane takes away everything. Going big will help. I don't know if going big will help. I mean, Detman did hit a few threes tonight, but I'm not sure if Detman's the player that you want trying to pull Brook Lopez out of the paint. Thank you, Jeff305, for the $5 dono. He said, I know Spo has earned a say on his staff, but he needs wholesale changes on this staff next year. We really do miss Dan Craig right about now. I am with you, bro. Like, I'm actually on line with that thinking. Like, I do think that there's a hole in the coaching staff, a vacancy that Dan Craig left that has not been filled. You can see him trying to replace him with people like Chris Quinn, but I don't think that role has been sufficiently filled with a capable person who's able to pretty much slap Spo in the face when he's doing stupid shit. Devin Jordan, thank you for the $4.99. Don't know. He said, would you bench Ariza for Detman? I mean, after what I saw tonight, anything's worth a try. Thank you, Alejandro, for helping me with these donos, putting them all up in order. So thank you, Ralph the Ace, for the $9.99 dono. He said, guys, Detman looks like the hungry center. No fight tonight. Going to finish watching Panthers game. Cheers, guys. Appreciate you, brother, and go Cats. So thank you, Mr. Seven Credible, for the 549 euros. He said, guys, you're really defending 3 rebounds. I love Bam, but we're not defending the rebounding numbers. We're defending Bam Adebayo as a basketball player and why his numbers look like this. It's going to be hard for us to get to conversations. We love your money. And so I'm going to take a break. I'm going to take a break on the comments. Well, I'll read that last one because I think that's the last one. Could you put that dono back up for me because I can't see it? It was a $1.99 dono. Oh, thank you, Brett, the movie guy. He said, who's the kid that wears 14? Never heard of him. Look, bro.
Hey, you might never hear about him again after this playoff is over.
Alfredo, I don't think we got to you with your player who you're going to blame tonight, so we're going to kick it to you.
You just mentioned him. Okay. Like, he's on this team for a reason, and he was a huge factor last year in the playoffs, so you're counting on him again, right?
Yeah,
and he's been completely non-existent. If I'm going to give you, I'll give you another player. Kendrick Nunn is probably playing himself into another desperation benching and Goran Dragic starting. So there's 2 players, and I'll put another one out there. Right? They traded Victor Oladipo for essentially nothing. They traded Kelly Olynyk for absolutely nothing. Right? So they might have to go even double desperation and start Dedmon and go with a big lineup because somebody has to keep Brook Lopez under wraps somehow, right? And you inject a little physicality and size, maybe that helps.
Pat Riley's blowing this shit up after this season. Pat Riley is blowing this shit up. You do not get embarrassed in the playoffs on Pat Riley's watch. Like, that's just not something that happens. Brian, Alfredo pretty much took the whole goddamn bench, but see if you can scramble in there to find you a player to talk about.
I'll talk about Duncan Robinson. I mean, he had a pretty ho-hum game. Defensively, he was a nightmare. This is a series where Duncan Robinson needs to be really, really damn good. We've talked about how well guys like Duncan Robinson shoot super well from 3 can go off against a team like the Bucks. Well, I don't know if he was 2 of 5 or 2 of 6, but that's not good enough, especially if you're not going to be able to stop anybody. He is a key part of a team that can't score, and if he's absent, that's a massive loss. And tonight he was absent.
So
that's a good point. That's a good point that Alex Campbell, and I guess you could call the donation.
No, you can read it.
All right. He says Herro only played 6 minutes till he got back in. And I know what he was trying to say. Back in at the end of the 3rd when the Heat were down 30, you can't blame him. I got the numbers in front of me. He came in down 22. He came back in down 32. So yeah, you can't blame him. but come on,
We will.
You know?
I expect them to score
we
25
can
tonight.
That's what we do on here.
I can. I wholeheartedly can because if we're going based off of what we projected him to be, we projected him to be one of our top 4 scorers on this roster, and he has not been able to fill that role in any capacity during this season.
Like, you can blame everybody except my boy Goran Dragic. He at least tried to break Chris Middleton's ankle, so you have that going for us.
Right.
Lifer.
They got chippy. They got chippy a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, he's a lifer as long as it's for the veteran minimum.
Two guys got chippy.
Yeah, that's true. Bielitsa was out there doing some wrestling moves too on Giannis.
Okay, make it three.
Yeah.
That's all that Miami.
Bielitsa's pretty big, so that's 3.5 right there, actually. So, I mean, that's a physical squad. You get UD in there, that's 4.5, and then Gabe Vincent, he's just fouling all the time. There's your 5.
Yeah, right, exactly. He's just a half. Yeah, he's a half.
Yeah, exactly.
So Simba, you pretty much scraping the bottom of the barrel. You want to talk about KZ?
All right, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna say who people we already said, but I'm gonna go with Kendrick Nunn. Just like he's hard to watch, man.
I admire you.
I'm gonna say that anyways. Fuck it, I don't care. Kendrick Nunn, he was hard to watch. He can't rebound to save his life. I don't even think he attempted to rebound. 0 rebounds the whole game. That's impossible. Like, dude, like you're under the basket, you're next to the basket. He just like watch. He's a big like ball watcher after he shoots or after somebody else shoots. He just like stands and just watches. Like it's super frustrating to watch. And Trevor Ariza was just useless today. I don't even know if he played basketball before today.
Cardio.
Because he didn't do anything. I
don't know if you guys saw the halftime show, but Ron Rothstein ripped Kendrick Nunn on video. He didn't call him out by name, but my God, it was obvious. And here's the problem: we got 3 guys, all right, and it's the 3 young guys. It's Kendrick Nunn, Tyler Herro, Duncan Robinson, right? Duncan Robinson knows what he's supposed to do on defense. He's just not good at it. Tyler Herro knows what he's supposed to do on defense. Is bad at all of it. But
are we sure he knows what he's
on the ball?
A lot of things Tyler Herro does not know.
Kendrick Nunn, who doesn't know what he's asked to do on defense, and then when he gets caught in one-on-one situations, he's even worse than that. So you have 3 guys that give you one. If you could put all 3 of them together, maybe you have an average defensive player. But
you might have the dumbest defensive player in the league.
Good point.
Yeah. So thank you, Ravi Patel, for the $2 dono. He said, "Okay, Brian, I'll take my L. None really hasn't been a beast."
That's how much you pay for an L? No, man, you gotta pay more if you take an L.
Greedy.
Yeah,
Ravi, they'll tell you that's how you get when you get on this post up, man. Most of these streams don't see this many donations in the stream. Brian, care to acknowledge Ravi Patel's concession?
I accept this L. But also, I don't know what the fuck you expected. It's Kendrick Nunn.
Hey.
I'm serious. Like, y'all expected Kendrick Nunn to be a beast against the Bucks?
Not a beast. We expected an average NBA player.
I thought he'd be able to take advantage of the drop defense and all the screens and DHOs with Bam.
I was saying he could be all right, but like, come on now, it's Kendrick Nunn. Like, this is kind of par for the course. So
Brian is right, man. Lemon booty in the NBA playoffs is a real thing, and Kendrick Nunn, it's not even lemon. It's pea booty at this point. It's BB booty at this point.
So he is like, so Kendrick Nunn he actually shot the most times on the team today. Like he got 14 shots up.
Really?
He shot more than everybody.
Vintage Kendrick Nunn.
Right.
How many shots did Jimmy get up?
Jimmy got up 10 shots. Bam got up 11. Dedmon and Dragic each got up 11. So
Uncle Dedmon let us in makes as usual.
So thank you, Jason Adebwale, for the $4.99 dono. He said y'all can keep defending Bam, but I'm off that now. What do y'all think about starting Dedmon and Goran next game?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I don't fuck it. Y'all gonna answer it. First of all, white leg. I don't know if this is real money that you're donating or if this is just my eyes. Anyway. What is it though? Like, what currency is this?
Well, I'm not seeing this. Where is that?
White leg. It's like a blue $50 thing, but it's like a P. Not sure what that is.
Non-coin.
Yeah, sure. 50 non-coin.
There we go.
Precious coin.
Which equates
that shit does not exist.
Yeah, it equates to
Filipino peso.
It's a peso?
It's a peso, Filipino peso.
Oh, there we go. Thank you.
Thank you. Look at.
So
Brian.
he's
It's
a
worth-
fan.
it's
He's a
worth-
fan from Mexico.
No, from
Or
the
the
Philippines. It's worth 2 cents per dollar.
Okay.
Okay,
So,
thanks.
yeah.
So,
Take it. Thank you.
Jimmy playing like Justice and Bam became Draymond. Yes, bro. Bam is like Draymond, bro. So, somebody said peso. They gave us,
No, you're doing Draymond wrong with that one.
really?
Draymond's
Yeah.
like a walking triple double.
I don't know if you watched Draymond
triple
Green play.
single.
Okay. 6 points, 10 assists, 10 rebounds. And like
Draymond had the season on the line and threw it into the
he just
third
wanted
row.
to go home. He's tired. That's all it is. Draymond's all right.
Hey, man, at least he shot it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I
Draymond
appreciate
gets
you
rebounds.
Tennessee for the Bay Area
Draymond
too.
boxes out and attacks the ball on rebounds. Bam has not done that this series.
Yeah,
He
Simba,
looks, can we talk? I'm sorry, Royal. Can we talk about Bam for a second? Like,
Sure.
not, but let's like have a nuanced discussion without going all crazy and saying all this bullshit.
Wow.
I have a lot to say about
Hold
my
up.
guy, Bam.
Okay, we'll get to it. But I have a question. Like, does he seem at all? And I know the answer, but let's have a talk about it. Does he seem disengaged to you? Like, is it just? Do we just chalk it up to the fact that like this is a really difficult, like genuinely a difficult defensive matchup for him? I mean, in terms of him getting his offense going, like the Bucks have guys that will give him problems offensively, right? So does he seem disengaged to you? And do you think it's because it's just a really tough matchup for him, or is there something else going on? Is he? I don't know. I don't want to
hope it's
speculate
something
too
else.
much.
I really
think
hope
he's-
it's something else.
Because
he's
this isn't the
getting-
Bam we saw last year.
I think he's getting into his own head because there was a time there where he made a little bank shot on the little runner off the glass, and then he started throwing his hands up like, "Wow, I got one to go." I think he's missing 2 or 3 shots, and it's getting in his head,
Yeah.
and it's just snowballing from there. So and remember, and you know, they started the game today, and you can look it up. Watch the rewatch. I know I'm asking you to rewatch this abortion that we just saw.
I'm going to
But
touch myself tomorrow
but-
anyway, Alfredo.
but watch the first 3 possessions. They called 3 plays for Bam. He went
Yep.
0 for 3.
Yep.
Brian,
And
you
I
like
think
to
it
jump in?
just got in there, and then it was an avalanche from there.
Yeah, I think
I think the good defense, the really, really damn good defense of the Bucks exacerbates the issues that Bam was going to have naturally. But also, I think if you watch Bam, he I don't know the guy. I'm not in his head, but I assume that Bam likes to be an efficient player. So I think typically when Bam misses his first few shots, he's not likely to force it. I think he's a guy who would rather go 4 for 5 than like 3 of 12 or whatever, right? So I think in this series where the Bucks are just going to make it look really, really tough on him, Bam's going to default to, I don't have it, so I'm going to get other guys going. And on this stage, it looks really, really bad. You can call that being in his own head. I think other people might just say that he's trying to make the smart plays and making sure that his own offensive struggles don't sink the team. But you know, we need Bam to kind of say, fuck all of that. I don't care if I go 2 for 20, right? I'm going to shoot and be aggressive. But I just don't think that he thinks like that. And, you know, on the stage, like I said, it just looks all the worse.
So, Sim, I'm going to throw this to you because Rodney G makes a point that I kind of want to get to. He said, stop trolling Bam. Jimmy is afraid of Drew Holiday, too. We're talking about the mental side of the game for Bam, but Jimmy isn't attacking Drew Holiday, and he hasn't attacked him. So is there something there?
I think it's one of those things where he just has too much respect for the guy because he's talked about it a million times how Drew Holiday is a monster on the defensive end and everything. So I think he put it in his own head that he can stop him. I think that's what it comes down to a little bit of. I think Jimmy does the same thing, though. I mean, he had so many bunnies that he missed, like literally point blank, where nobody was defending him, and he just like couldn't make it off the glass. I think Jimmy gets it in his head too that he can't do it, or you know that this isn't a good matchup for him. Not that he can't do it, that it's just not a good matchup for him. That's just my opinion, though.
Like it kind of sounds like you're saying that Jimmy sees like there may be a better basketball play to be made as opposed to him attacking Drew Holiday.
Yeah,
and with the way that this team has been playing, I don't think that that's the case. I think the best matchup is whatever matchup Jimmy has on him at the time. Gad, I want you to jump in there on the Jimmy thing.
For Jimmy and Bam, I think you guys both bring up valid points about this being a tough matchup. Like schematically, it's very tough for both of these guys to really get going and do what they want to do because primarily they like to get into the paint, and the Bucks are really good at keeping people out of the paint, forcing you to jump shoot. With all that being said, you got to show some dog. Like, this is a tough matchup. It's really hard to be able to do this, but in order to win in the playoffs, you have to overcome tough matchups. You have to just put your will up against somebody else's will, and that's not what we've been able to see. We saw it for moments, bits and pieces in game one, and we just got the Bucks showed up to play and we didn't, and there wasn't a mental thing that said, oh, we're not going to back down from this challenge. They just took the beating and they just wanted to go home. I don't know exactly where that came from. I think Jimmy more so showed that today and Bam more so showed that in game one, but I think just the leadership between those two guys has not been there to this point. And if you're on a team where there's really only two positive players most games, and those two positive players are mentally checking themselves out of the series, you're going to get killed. And that's what happened today.
Yeah, so I feel like these the commenters are donating in bunches. So you guys give me a second, and then Alfredo's going to host the next segment. Anthony Villamil, thank you for the $4.99. Don't know. He said Bam has the yips. Jimmy kept his team afloat with his best season, and Pat didn't want to trade these bums for Lowry to give him a chance. I don't want to call everybody on the team a bum, but I get where you're going with that. Like, Pat should have made something more significant happen at the trade deadline. I don't know. I think the Oladipo thing was pretty big to everybody up until he got hurt. Thank you, Dominique Woods, for the $5. Don't know. He said, man, Jimmy is the star. This is on him. Stop ranting on the role players and skipping over Jimmy. Y'all did 5 minutes on none and 2 seconds on Jimmy. Look, we got a lot of people to get to, and we did talk about Jimmy to an extent.
And we're doing it now.
Right. Poetic Lifestyle. Thank you for the $4.99. Don't know. He said, no excuses. The Heat offense is not going to win this series. Improve Bucks. Yes, we've been talking about how the Bucks have improved all season long and how Drew Holiday makes them really good, especially at defense, which is why some of you should be more understanding of how difficult this is for Miami Heat players. Thank you, Jason Adebwale, for the $4.99. Don't know. He said, Jimmy, pick up my dribble Butler.
That one hits right there.
I'm telling you, that hit
That
hard.
boy did not want to dribble at all around Drew today. He was so scared to put the ball on the ground.
Yeah. And thank you, Mark Jr., for the $5. Don't know. He said team needs a pure scorer. Absolutely. 23 to 25 point per game guy. I think that will help elevate Bam's offensive game. More free rolls to the basket, lobs, etc., etc. Yes. And thank you, Talking Movies, for the $5 donation. Duncan has to shoot 13 to 15 threes a game. I think that's too much. He's gotten open shots at will both games. Both teams have holes in their defense. Only Milwaukee is taking advantage. It's really difficult when Milwaukee is making you take the shots that they want you to take. So, Alfredo, you're the best host on this show. Lead the conversation for about 5 minutes.
All right, I'm going to start with Gad you know what? We talked about a bunch of players. Let's talk about the boss. Eric Spoelstra in this series had a plan. He had a plan in game one, and it seemed like it was working. Then you get blitzed, but your team didn't show any physicality. Talk about Spo. Tell me what you see that he's done that's any different that caused this team to essentially kind of quit in the second quarter of this game.
Are we starting with me?
Yep.
Okay, we're starting with me. Well, I mean, in the second quarter, I guess there really wasn't many adjustments that I felt like we made. It was kind of just we played it straight, and then we just got our asses kicked in the first quarter. And then, I mean, we slowed them down a little bit, but then Bryn Forbes kind of had that eruption in the middle of the second quarter to open things up again. But I think the adjustment down the stretch was just to play Dedmon because he has the size and the physicality to just match.
He's freezing up.
Don't worry, Alfredo. This
What
happens.
Brooke Lopez kind of wants to do. Moving forward. Did my Wi-Fi just go out?
We know.
Nah.
You know it. Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay.
Alfredo, just laugh to your face.
You
But
gotta
no,
go back
it's
to
back now.
sitting on your router.
Yeah, it's back now.
Yeah.
Hey,
Seriously.
you're back. You're back.
Okay, so I mean, I don't know if Dedmon is like one of the adjustments that they're going to make, but it seems like having him on the floor has been most beneficial because Ariza isn't physical enough to guard Giannis. They don't have anyone that's Carter-esque that can root his own. Iguodala is objectively awful. He's been horrible for a long period of time. So I think Dedmon just having that size there to kind of counteract other guards being there is one adjustment that Spo should be able to make. He started to make that in the second half, but obviously it just didn't pan out. But That's one move that I think Spo should be looking to make. Like, get Dedmon more involved. If you have to play Bam and Dedmon, oh well. Bam's not even playing like a center this series anyways.
And that's going to be the last move for you, at least for the next 2-3 minutes until you fix your Wi-Fi situation. Ariel,
Hey, shout out John Crowder.
does he have a trick in his bag? Does Spo have a trick in his bag he can go to for Game 3? Because everybody's looking for answers now. Like, you get smoked, and really the game was over in the first quarter. Like, you see, usually you get blitz like that. You're down 20. You might lose by 11. You could point to the next 3 quarters and say, hey, we win the next 3 quarters. Like, we're working on something. No, they lost the next 3 quarters after being smoked in that first quarter. Is there a trick in the bag for Game 3, Ariel?
So defensively, what happened in the first quarter was that the Bucks were getting the ball to the middle, not the middle of the paint, but they would get past the Heat's point of attack defender, and then a shot would go up if it was Giannis, or they'd spray it around the rim, around the horn rather, and the Bucks would get open looks at 3, and they made everything. So I don't know if there's an adjustment there. I mean, maybe you're moving Trevor Ariza from guarding Giannis and putting him at the point of attack, use his length, use his size to kind of, maybe he can stay in front of Drew Holiday, maybe he can stay in front of whoever it is that's penetrating the Heat's defense. Giannis is kind of difficult for anybody not named Bam to stay in front of, and even then, that's a tough matchup. Offensively speaking, I think the adjustment is probably, and Gad and I talked about this on the shoot-around this morning, it's probably to have Bam bring the ball up the court a little bit more and then have guards screen for him more frequently so that, like if the Bucks are dropping on that action, then the guard, if say it's Duncan coming off of the screen or screening for Bam rather, Bam either gets a wide open lane to the hoop, he's going to have to take that shot, or the man fights over or under the screen, Duncan's got a 3. There's always going to be a good look coming out of that set. So more guard screens for Bam. I don't know if I love the idea of playing Dedmon with Bam. I do like that, Spo's experimenting with it. Like, why not try it? Because you're getting killed doing any with all of your other defensive coverages and all your other rotations at the moment. So that's kind of interesting. I think that's something he's experimenting with. And so we might, we'll probably see it in the next game. But more guard screens for Bam and just more effort defensively. Stay in front of your man, guard your goddamn house, recover the shooters, play hard.
All right, and thank you, Christian Garduz, who's been dropping one-liners in the comments all night, and he donates $1.99, and he says Jimmy's Buckets title has been temporarily revoked. Well, you're not wrong, but get better one-liners, by the way. Bryant, is there a trick in the bag before I throw out the nuclear option to Matt? Is there a trick in Spo's bag for Game 3? Because this after Game 1, I said, there's no adjustments. Like, just go and this time don't shoot 36% from the field, right? Play better, Jimmy. Play better, Bam. We win, right? Now they need some adjustments. Is there a trick in the bag, Brian?
The voodoo. Like, I part of me feels like there are schematic adjustments. I'm not sure quite what they are, but I think part of it is just the personnel, man. Like, I just don't know if this team has the personnel to, if the Bucks get hot from the perimeter. Like, I think that the Bucks are always going to have an advantage inside when you have Giannis and Lopez and even to an extent Drew Holiday. Like, I think that their advantage in the paint is just always going to be there. But, again, going back to what we've seen from this team all season, I just don't know if they had the personnel to really stop the Bucks offense. Defensively, we've seen what this team can do. They've been a really good defensive team all season, but if the Bucks are hot, you kind of just have to throw your hands up and be like, well, they're the better team. I'm not saying that they will be for the series. I still think the Heat can win. They get a game or they get the next game at home. We have a series, right? But I question if there's a whole lot that you can do that would really, really matter and change the outcome of how this series is looking like it's going.
Yeah, and I'll now I'm going to throw it to Matt, and I'm going to start it with this comment. Matt, John Crotty during the game, you remember that the flagrant that they called on Ariza on Giannis, and then they called it unnecessary extra contact. I thought the contact should have came when he was actually giving the foul, not when you're going to stand up by pressing down on his chest and near his nuts, right? Like, that was just stupid to get a 2-shot penalty for that. Like, that was just stupid. Matt, is it time to just put Ariza on the bench and start Dedmon? He showed life.
Yeah,
they need size.
I don't think it's a bad idea to start off with more energy, right? Like you know that Dedmon's going to come and bring it. You know that guy is feeling himself. He's got a little bit of whatever Udonis Haslem eats for breakfast. He's eating the same shit, right? So I would love to see Dedmon, come off the bench, maybe set the tone, maybe not, have a full, regular minute start, but, come in just to help set the tone real quickly. And then maybe get Trevor Ariza to come in, at a slower pace, kind of see how the game is going. Usually vets have a good sense of how the game is going from the bench. We've heard it lots of times. People, a lot of vets say that. So maybe that helps him out. And then kind of like what Ariel was saying.
By the way, thank you, Krista Carduz, for another 199 and another one-liner. Never thought I'd say this, but 21 is going on the rafters for Hassan Whiteside. Why? Okay, Matt, keep going.
Uncle Dedmon. Dedmon.
But yeah, man, maybe have him in for a little bit. Then put in Trevor Ariza, and then let's see what Trevor Ariza can do. And we'll switch it up. I think Spoelstra's best move might be to constantly be switching, defensive schemes while the game is going on. And maybe see if beat Buden. What's his name? Budenholzer, whatever. Budenholzer, whatever.
Booty Holzer.
Whatever. Fuck it. Budenholzer, whatever his name is. I think Spoelstra can beat him when it comes to tactics. So maybe it's more of a let's just keep changing the game for them and see what they're going to end up doing.
Thank you, Mr. Seven Incredible, for the €549. Is that euros? Yeah, €549 donation. He says this team is fueled by two things: Jimmy's will and threes, and we didn't have either. Well, they had the threes in the first game. They haven't had Jimmy for either one of the two, so you're essentially right. And I know I'm Ravi Patel. Thank you for the $2. He says Bud has made adjustments, and now I am terrified. He hasn't made any adjustments. All right, they're just
hit 22.
Crap out of
The
us in the
adjustment
first
was
quarter.
Bryn Forbes.
Yeah, that was the master adjustment. And with that, I give you your show back, Royal.
Thank you so much. The man Miami Heat Prince called you the UD of 5 reasons and said, I'm losing my hosting duties. The show would probably be much more entertaining if Alfredo hosted it anyway.
No, it won't.
I don't really don't worry. I'm just going to make somebody else host because I don't know what the fuck to talk about with this sorry ass game. I didn't want to watch it. Go ahead, Aaron.
I have a question.
Please.
Why can anyone, Royal, I'll ask you since you are I want to hear your opinion, bro.
Okay.
What is your explanation as to why this team so frequently throughout the course of the season and now in the biggest spot all year in game 2 of the first round after losing game 1, why does this team come out and just not seem to have it? That dog, that fight, that we're here, we're going to punch you in the mouth, we're the defending Eastern Conference champions, and we're going to remind you. Where was it tonight, and why has that been a consistent theme throughout the season?
I think this one is pretty easy. It's because this team doesn't have it. That's why it looks like that. And I think to be able to recapture what they did last year in the bubble was something that they kind of tried to bank on, like saying we've done it before, we can do it again. Not understanding that the circumstances of this season are completely different. Like this environment is different, and people have to acknowledge the fact that going on the road in a playoff game is difficult as opposed to being at a neutral location with no fans in there. So for a lot of these guys, the moment just feels a little bit bigger than it did in the bubble. Like Tyler Herro, for instance, in that bubble environment, it's just like AAU games in a sense where you're playing in front of a small crowd or whatever. But this year you're playing in front of actual fans in hostile environments, and it has not come. And that's for the entire season. The team just doesn't have enough. Like we have to at some point come to grips with that. Like we're a scorer away. We're a couple of things away from being an actual championship contender. And, we overachieved last year. And so, we're kind of on par for where we should be this year. A tired championship team that's struggling in the first round against a team with more talent.
So to that, I'm going to go to you, Gad. Do you feel like we put any of that blame on the coaching staff in terms of having the players ready to go, geared up, and ready to play every single game? Is it purely on the players? Is it a mix of both? How do you balance that out?
Oh, it's definitely a mix of both. I mean, there's been questionable decisions by the coaching staff a lot of times this year, but I'm not solely putting it on them. They've also made some great decisions at times too. And the players themselves, I think one of the most telling quotes from this season, which I thought was very interesting because this man is out here was out here putting up numbers in Houston, was from Kelly Olynyk. And I remember, I think it was like late February, and someone asked him like what the Heat's expectations were going into the season. And he said, we thought we would be better than we were right now. And like, we would just turn it on at the end. like they kind of understood that they should try to coast through the season and then just recapture whatever it was that they had last year in order to go into the playoffs. And they just haven't been able to do that. That's not been there for this team. It's been a really big issue. So I think it's partially mentality. A lot of it's also personnel. The coaching is definitely involved, but I don't really know how much or how ready the coaches can get these players if they don't want to show up and play every single game and try to earn their way into the NBA, because a lot of these guys are still young and unproven. Then that's on them. But I think that quote from Kelly, it's not the exact quote, but I'll try to pull up it eventually. That was kind of really telling as to how the Heat were approaching this season and where I think they might have been wrong in doing so.
Brian, my last question. Do you think that Tyler Herro can turn it around, play really well against a team from the state that he's from, and save the Heat season in Game 3?
Put me on the spot.
That's your favorite guy.
That's my favorite guy, my favorite player. You know what? Yes. I think that Tyler Herro has a really damn good game left in him. I think that okay, so my real answer is absolutely fucking not. I just don't think he's an all right player. He's an all right player who can be explosive in random moments, but that's not bad. I'm not trying to say he's trash or whatever. I just, Tyler Herro is always liable to have a 25 plus game, right?
Yeah.
I just can't rely on that though. It's like betting on, it's like flipping a coin and betting on it being heads. You have no idea. So while I think it's entirely possible that he could go off in one of these remaining games, I don't trust it enough to play him big minutes or to give him any kind of a real opportunity to show that, oh yeah, Tyler Herro can lead me to a victory here, especially if he's being guarded by Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday. Like, that's a really, really tough assignment. Again, possible, but I wouldn't bet on it.
I'm 100% sure that Brian had his fists clenched that entire thing.
I got a question for Gad, because Gad, you were kind of flexing in the chat a little bit. You still thinking about going to Game 3?
Ooh. Thankfully, I told my friends to wait until after this game because I wanted to see if it was going to be 2-0, if it was going to be 1-1. Like, I will not be spending my money on Game 3. I will probably not be spending my money on Game 4. Instead, I'll be going to the best fast food place in South Florida, which is Miami Grill. I'll go and get some food from Miami Grill, probably with Bielitsa after Game 4, because he might not have a game to play after that. And, I'll go ahead and get the works Philly cheesesteak with all the peppers, all that good stuff from Miami Grill, because I'm going to be craving it. They're going to be making it.
Does that say salad?
We're going to be eating good.
When we're talking about Bielitsa?
How do you think Bielitsa got into world-class shape, Royal? Did you see him tonight? That's what peak male performance looks like.
Oh, okay. Everybody can see him
That's
tonight.
disappointing for the whole human race.
Yo, I want those cups.
It's a more attainable peak.
Those cups are nice.
Thank you, Brian Drake, for the $10 donation. He said, "Let's go Mavericks."
Let's go Mavericks. What you talking about?
I don't actively root for any other team, but Adam Barai has been in a similar position where he wants the Mavericks to sweep the Clippers.
We sure do.
That's bad.
Ariel is in there in that camp too, because I don't know if he wants me to tell you guys, but I'm gonna tell you his business anyway. He wants us to be able to get in a room with Kawhi, but he wants Paul George.
Ooh.
I also want Paul
Source?
George.
Is that Royal A Sources speaking?
Wait. We really want Paul George?
That's me
Adam,
talking to Adam. That's
Adam.
Adam.
Would you rather have Paul George or Mo Harkless?
That's a good question.
That's not a
Now,
fucking
it
real
seems
question.
like a trick question.
Okay, because Mo Harkless is on his best nights is equivalent to anybody else on this roster outside of Jimmy and Bam. So that's pretty much our third best player right there.
Right, with Paul George, are we not sure that he's our second best player?
Oh no, he definitely is our second best player at that point.
He is. Yes.
Yeah, Paul George is really damn good. People need to get
Alfredo,
over there.
you want to jump in before I start reading the rest of these donos?
Yeah. Paul George is just, he's a great player. You just got to make sure you get him some condoms and tell him that, tootsies, relax. Because, if you start creating a bunch of baby mamas, it's going to cause problems on the team. You know what I mean? So,
Look how Hero's doing. Hero's doing great.
You got
Hero's
cereal?
doing great.
He got
Cereal,
Chipotle
Chipotle
bowls.
Like he just got some milk? I just saw another commercial for him the other day. It was dope.
He has a milk.
Yeah, he had
He has a
4
milk
points
commercial?
tonight in 18 minutes. He's doing great.
I don't
He
know
has
if
more-
it was milk.
Tyler Herro has more sponsorships than 3-point makes in this series,
Yeah.
That is
which is not a bad thing. You know, it's not a bad thing. Like his agent's happy. You know, his
Alejandro,
bank
we need a
account's
graphic
happy,
for
his
stat of
girl's
the night.
happy.
That was the stat of the
bro.
night by Alfredo. You're going to give us a stat of the night every night for the rest of the playoffs. That means we only got 2 more games.
more
So come up
games.
with 2 really good stats. Thank you, Mr. Seven Credible, for the $549 European dollars. He said the players felt like they were going to be traded or not re-signed all year. It broke their toughness. They don't really fight for each other the same. Bro, to me, those kind of circumstances don't really matter. I only care about what you do when you're on the court. But there may be some validity to it. I'm not saying that there is no validity to people playing words around trade rumors, but I don't give a shit about trade rumors. I care about points, rebounds, assists, blocks, steals. That's what I care about.
Not even
And
that. You care about winning.
That's it. I don't care how we win.
You don't care what the points and rebounds are. You care
Fuck-
about the dub at the
Fuck
end.
them numbers. I don't care about none of them shits. I just care about winning the game. Thank you, D, for the $2 dono. He said should have drafted D Book, not Bam. First of all, bro,
Different
Not
draft.
even- look, they weren't in the same draft.
no,
what are you
that
talking
would
about?
have been Justice
Oh,
Winslow
yeah.
instead of Devin
Yeah.
Booker, and
Who?
everybody was elated when we drafted Justice Winslow, who no longer plays basketball apparently. But we were elated because we thought we had stolen a top 5 pick.
I saw the
God.
saddest thing I've ever seen in my life when Memphis upset Utah. They panned to the bench, and Justice Winslow is now excited towel guy.
Man,
That
Is
is
it
just
Saturday?
sad.
was it Saturday looking at D Wade in the Chicago Bulls uniform or Cleveland Cavaliers uniform?
Well, yeah, no, the Cavs uniform that was horrendous.
Yeah,
Looking
that
at
shit
that.
never happened. That shit never happened. I just made it up.
Saturday watching Dwayne Wade on the Jazz bench as the new owner.
Hey, bro, that didn't happen either. He's on TNT, Simba. What are you talking about? Thank you, Talking Movies, for the $5 dono. He said Precious and Bam had the same number of rebounds. Good night, folks. Looking forward to the contest the rest of the week. Heat and 7 have the guts. I'm fucking with it, Talking Movies. You just convinced me. $4.99. Thank you, Devin Jordan. He said Tyler Herro should have been traded for Kyle Lowry. Facts. I don't.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
You didn't ask a question. You just made a statement, so I'm going to agree with you, bro.
Yeah, I like
Yeah,
ending your own statement with facts. That's an alpha move. That's an alpha move right there.
I guess I can't disagree, huh?
Right. There's no, he didn't give us any wiggle room in that comment, bro. Thank you, Christian Cardus,
right.
for the biggest dono that you've given us all season, $4.99. He said, I don't care if y'all talk about this yet. Oh, I don't know. I don't know if y'all talked about this yet, but people on NBA Twitter have been retweeting a video of what looks like Tyler
Tyler's?
Pops leaving in the women's room. Weird as fuck. Are you talking about Tyler's Pops?
Bro,
leaving
I
the women's room?
you can't even trust Christian. I have no
He
idea.
said
If that's
that.
Yeah, I don't know if he's trolling me or not, bro. He's just
No
trying to get me
idea.
to read weird shit online because you know I'm gonna do it. Yo, fuck that time. So we're gonna do last points before we get predictions for the next game. So we'll go. I don't know which way that is. We're gonna start with Simba. Simba, last thoughts on this horrendous ass game?
Yeah, bury it, burn it. I don't know what the fuck you want to do. Grab all the stat sheets that the little kid that runs to Pat Riley and gives him all the papers with all the stats. Throw that shit away. Let's pretend this game didn't ever fucking happen because this is horrible. Like, there's literally nothing in this game that I would probably like to see next game going forward, except maybe Deadman making a 3.
Hell yeah.
I think that's the only thing that I'm
Yeah.
okay with seeing next game. But other than that, like, I don't want to see any part of this game. I'm tired of it already. Like, F it. And if I see Giannis like playing soccer with a basketball, I hope somebody punches him in the face. All right, like fucking
Deadman.
I didn't like
was
that
like a
either.
big troll move, man. So F that.
So King Brian in the comments, is that really you, Brian?
That's not me. I wouldn't. No, that's lame.
Well,
First of
your
all,
name,
you're
is
stealing my
Brian. Your
brand.
name is Brian is the King, and this
I
dude's name
made that
is
when I
King
was
Brian.
12. I don't know what this dude is doing.
He's King Brian, and he's saying let
Yeah.
Brian speak, and I have no choice but to oblige him. Oh, no,
I feel like that really is Brian, though.
No,
Yeah, I
that's
feel
not
like
my
it is
account.
too.
No, my
Brian,
account
you just
is
got
Brian
blocked
Young.
for 5 minutes by Alejandro. Brian,
My-
I'm going to
Throw it
let
here.
you speak. Give me your final thoughts on this shit show of a basketball game.
You know what? I'm going to end this with a little kind of rant-ish about Bam because in the past couple days we've seen a lot of shit talking about Bam isn't this, Bam isn't that. Let's all keep in mind the kind of responsibility that this guy has at 24, right? He's expected to be the best defender on the team. He's expected to be the best rebounder on the team. He's expected to facilitate. And y'all want him to be a 25 plus per game scorer at 24 in his fourth season. Like, most 24-year-olds don't even know how to set up a LinkedIn. And y'all want him to be an all-NBA caliber player like that. Like, let's chill. Not only that, but he's a big who doesn't really have guys that look to get him easy shots, right? So in addition to the 25 plus whatever we're expecting him to do it essentially all on his own, right? I just think that we need to temper our expectations a little bit. Can he be better? Absolutely. Are there places where Bam is frustrating? Absolutely. But at the same time, like, let's all put this into context and realize, like, this guy, for his age, for his role, is really, really damn good. Any team in the league would be lucky to have a Bam Adebayo on their team. So chill, stop with the Whiteside comparison, stop calling him bum or pebbles or trash. Y'all will never be good at anything as Bam is at basketball. So relax.
So Ariel Latias, thank you for commenting, Preach Brian, and getting those viewer numbers up. I really appreciate you. Don't know who you are, bro, but I'm pretty sure you're a gentleman and a scholar. Thank you, Abdel. I'm not sure if you're Abel Shaw and you're trying to confuse me, but thank you for the $2.99. Don't know. He said, rapid fire, do we hold serve game 3 and 4? Sure, let's get into that shit. Fuck that. No, wait, I'm gonna let them give their final thoughts on this game, and then we'll do it your way, Abdel, because you gave me money. Alfredo, you go last because you're the smartest person here. You're gonna make all of us say Gadiel Cartagena. Ooh, that's I should have said that.
Yeah, this game was.
No, wait, you go last, waste. Alfredo. You go last,
okay,
Alfredo. Right. Gad goes first. Gad, go.
My thoughts on this game?
Final thoughts on this game.
I think I'm not going to rule anything out for the Heat because they got absolutely ran off the floor both games in the finals against LeBron James and Anthony Davis, and they were able to will game 2, and that was without home court advantage, and the Heat are going to have 17,000 fans. So I'm not going to rule anything out. I think it's obviously an uphill climb, but things are possible for the Heat. I think if they have the right mentality, it's still possible. We saw it in game 1. These teams are much more evenly matched than given credit for. Obviously, the Bucks probably have a little bit more talent, but I'm holding out hope. I'm not guaranteeing anything. I'm not saying anything's going to happen. The Bucks probably should win the series handily the way that it looked today, but I'm holding out a little bit of hope because the Heat have home court advantage, and the Bucks have not played in front of 17,000 people in over a year and a half.
Ariel Latias, final thoughts on this game.
So, given everything that we saw today, I still don't think the Heat are dead here. They're going home. They've got a chance. You win game 3, you're right back in the series. It's 2-1. It's a whole other thing. The momentum shifts. Pat Riley once said that a series doesn't really start until a home team loses. We've seen the Heat. We've seen teams get blown out in a game in a playoff series and still win that series. It's not. It happens. Game 1 was right there. They could have easily won it. A different bounce here and there. This is 1-1 going back to Miami, and we all feel great. The Heat lost the first 2 games to Dallas in 2006. They got blasted in those 2 games in Dallas, and then they came back and won the next 4 games in that series. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen here, but don't count the Heat out yet. I don't think they're dead yet.
Guts.
They also had this guy. I don't know if you've heard of him, but his name is Dwayne Tyrone Wade Jr.
Dwayne Dedman.
That motherfucker ain't walking through that door. He's somewhere
pretty good.
in Salt Lake City.
Jimmy Butler might walk back through that door. Hey, door's open. Come back through anytime, bro.
If he shows up, then we might actually have a series on our hand. Alfredo, make us all smarter talking about basketball.
Ariel's right. This happens all the time. Teams get absolutely smoked in one game. One of the greatest moments in NBA history was the Lakers getting absolutely smoked in Boston. They even called that game the Boston Massacre. They lost by like 46 or something like that. They went on to win 3 straight and win the series. So, yeah, it happens all the time. You brought up 06. They got smoked in game 2 against Dallas, and then they came back to win 4 straight. So it happens all the time. But it has to start with 1. And they got to make their adjustments. They got to go out and get game 3, and then we'll talk about game 4. But you really have to look at the series that way. Now they're in clusters, right? They got to go and win both games in Miami. If not, they're not advancing.
So, point of order: the words "Ariel's right" never come out of anybody's mouth on this post-game show. That's just not how this works.
I thought
Alfredo
Michael
Arteaga.
was right.
Michael, that is also blasphemous. We should kick you off the stream. You know the rules, Gadiel Cartagena.
Bro, you're always right.
Yeah, thank you. See, flattery gets you everywhere, my brother. But listen,
Get a little bit more money.
I guess my final thoughts on this game would probably be: look, it's cliche as hell, but you learn more from these types of losses than you do from close losses. Miami came into this game looking like they were a bit entitled, and then they got humbled really quickly. So now that you know, at the very least, you know that Miami's going to come back in game 3 with a bad taste in their mouth about how they showed up in this game, how they were thoroughly outplayed, and how everybody on the Bucks team outplayed them. So I'm looking forward to Miami and seeing the type of effort that they put forward from the tip of game 3. I'm looking forward to seeing the type of effort. So speaking of game 3,
by the way, Ricky was in the comments and he was saying that the Heat are not the 85 Lakers that made that comeback after getting smoked by Boston. My comeback to that is the Milwaukee Bucks are not the 85 Boston Celtics.
Yeah, Ricky. Yeah, I don't know, but y'all both know more about that shit than I do.
Each
so
series
let's
is on its own. Each series is on its own.
Let's talk about. We all know the Knicks suck. You guys don't have to tell Ricky that. He's looking at it himself. But yeah, let's talk about the next game. And Simba,
No.
the boy feeling good?
Man. I need somebody to convince me right now, man. That's where I'm at right now. The boy is feeling so-so. All right. Like, I honestly, I want to see a win in game 3. I need to see a win in game 3. That's going to make me feel better. I might, I lost a little weight today because of how just depressed I was watching this game. So, yeah, I need a win here. The boy's feeling so-so, but I hope we blow that shit out.
Hey, man, don't worry. I'll tell you what the Heat gonna do when we get around to it. Brian, the boy feeling good?
The boy feeling good about one of these games, so why not the first one? Sure, we're gonna win by 5. Yeah, that sounds reasonable.
Yeah, that sounded convincing.
Yeah.
Gad, the boy feeling good?
The boy has hope. I think we can go with that. It's crazy what 17,000 people cheering for players like Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo can probably do for their morale and their psyche. So if there's any one place and any one game where the Heat are going to be able to get right, it's with their backs up against the wall going home. I'm not saying that the Heat are going to win this game, but I mean, it's ride or die. I'm going to root for the Heat like crazy. And hopefully they will force this to a pivotal game 4.
So somebody said the boy is confused. Christian Carter said the boy feeling scared. Cat for Life said the boy zooted. Brian, you have a stand, bro. I just want to put that out there, bro. You have a super fan in the comments. So King Brian, I'm gonna shout you out. Brian, you should say his name one time and make him have a really good night. So go ahead, acknowledge King Brian, bro.
First of all, you stole my whole flow. So shout out to that, King Brian. I guess not like I did it years ago, but thank you for doing that in the comments. I appreciate it.
The boy feeling like Brian.
Depressed? I don't know if that's a feeling you want, bro, but you got it.
Ariel, the boy feeling good?
The boy is not feeling good. How could the boy possibly be feeling good after that game? He just watched his favorite team get absolutely annihilated, smoked, bent over a barrel, and shown the 50 states. However, the Heat are going to win game 3. The Heat are winning game 3.
Guts. That's what I like to see. The boy hasn't left the couch since the game started. The boy feeling sick to his stomach. Okay. Alfredo Arteaga, you learned this last game. Let's hear it. The boy feeling good?
The boy's in need of visual evidence that he's going to feel good. And that visual evidence is only going to come when 48 minutes are gone and the Heat have more points than the Bucks in game 3. Because after this type of game, you can't help but be kind of suspicious. Like, oh, is it quitting time or not?
Hey, it's close.
Hey, listen. At least you got the hang of it. The boys' feelings are all over the place, but not mine. The boy is as steady as a rock, and the Heat are going to scrape out a victory over the Bucks next game. The boy is not feeling particularly confident one way or the other about what this Miami team can do. He has seen them several occasions look like world beaters and other occasions look like today. So the boy is extremely confused about which Miami Heat team will show up, but he is confident that we will eke out a victory. So time to pay the bills. Gad has already paid Miami Grill and did such a wonderful job doing so. So we're going to let my man Brian show the world how it's done and pay Biscayne Bay Brewing.
All right, Biscayne Bay Brewing is a locally owned independent brewery in the heart of Miami. They have delicious beers, which I would recommend drinking on a less than happy night like this to kind of relax yourself, get into the groove of the fact that, hey, my basketball team may have gotten their ass whooped, but I can still have a fantastic night. And you can have that fantastic night with one of the Regatta Double IPAs, a Tropical Bay IPA, the Marlins Lager, the Pastime Pilsner, the Miami Pale Ale, or the La Colada Porter. All delicious beers. They are the official craft beer of the Miami Marlins, and they're the official craft beer of the Miami Heat. Both teams that you love, both teams that you want to support. So I think that you should go out and get yourself a Biscayne Bay Brewing beer. You can get it at a restaurant. If you don't see it on the menu, you can ask for it. They probably have it, or wherever you get beers, stores, and such. Have yourself a nice night. Drink responsibly with a Biscayne Bay Brewing.
Or have it delivered to you via Instacart. Other than that.
Or that.
Look at that. New information. See, that's why we have Alfredo Artiago here to inform the pod about how you can get your beer. Okay. But Brian, I want to commend you because this Biscayne Bay Brewing thing, you have owned it over the past couple of weeks, my brother. You have been a man amongst Tyler heroes. So we're gonna let Ariel play Therapist Preferred today.
All right. Well, Therapist Preferred is a CBD company that provides 100% THC-free and third-party lab verified CBD products. All products are made in the USA, cutting edge technology from organically grown hemp. The most popular products are the CBD sports cream, the strawberry lemonade, and the green apple flavored gummies. What else we got? You get free shipping on all your orders if you use the promo code 5 Reasons. So that's the number 5 Reasons. You get 20% off your order, like I said. So shop now at therapistpreferred.com.
Beautiful. Thank you, Christian Cardus, for the $1.99 dono. He said Miami Pale Ale official brew of Dante DiVincenzo.
I fucking hated that guy by the start of the third quarter, man. His rap battle winning ass. Get him the fuck out of
bro, here. I hate scrappy white defenders, bro.
Oh boy.
Dante DiVincenzo from 8 Mile.
Right, yes. Racially ambiguous.
Like he does look like that, right? Like he looks like the guy that would go. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he would go and he'd win a rap battle, and everybody would be behind him in the crowd. You know what I mean?
He has to do it.
At least it wasn't TJ McConnell that did this thing. It was
MJ McConnell is he who must not be named on these post-game shows. Alfredo
right now.
So I think we've paid all the bills. Let's talk about some of these shows.
What did Forbes end up with anyway? 48 points or something like that?
Yeah, at least 60.
He had Malik.
Forbes had 22.
When you talk about somebody who scores way more than they should have, we call them Malik Monk points. So he ended up with 22 points, 5 rebounds, 3 personal fouls.
He had more rebounds than Bam.
Several people in this game had more rebounds than Bam. That wasn't an accomplishment today.
Not fun, man. Not fun.
Simba, talk about
Manscaped.
Sure. They're not sponsored the post, but you can.
So last time that I was here, I was talking about how I was singing The Dream, falsetto, while I was using the Lawnmower 3.0. But then I heard about the Lawnmower 4.0. So even though it was just, it was still good, a little bit rough, I decided I had to do it. So I went into the shower, a little bit more singing, got it in there. It's so clean. It's so good. Did the oil. I mean, not the oil, the toner. Oh, my God. I don't know
use the ball toner.
It is so good.
How's the ball toner?
Toner's good, man. It makes it feel good. It makes it feel tight, clean. All the pores are clean, man.
Nice.
Like you want it all nice and clean. All right. The best thing also is that deodorant. I put it on, went out at night, came back home, and it still smelled fresh. All right, like that's.
I'm suspicious that everybody who thanks me for putting them on to Manscaped and they say, hey, man, that ball deodorant is fucking great. And I keep thinking, man, your balls smell that bad, man.
It's not that they smell bad. It's just that like they didn't smell this good. Like
how does one go about checking the smell of their balls pre and post ball deodorant?
You pull out your hand and you get a big whiff of goodness, and you're like, "Damn, I've never
whiff of goodness
before."
Because most of the compliments we get on the 3YPC account about Manscaped is about the ball deodorant, and everybody's like, "Man, that's a life changer." And I'm like, "Man, our listeners have a lot of smelly nuts."
Yeah, because they're Dolphin fans. All their nuts.
You think you got too many kids? Put on the ball deodorant. It'll change your life.
I think I have too many kids? I have 2 children, Simba. And they're 13 years apart. Yo, listen, I took my time having kids, brother. Except for
you had good cable for 12 years.
Right. I had good cable and money for 13 years. Now broke it royal down bad to the Earth's core. Why? Because I don't walk around smelling my balls. Gadiel Cartagena is tired. He's yawning into the camera. We're boring him shitless. So I'm going to let him talk about the shoot around.
Shoot around. We talk 140 seconds as Ariel and myself talk about what's going on with the Heat. I don't know how the hell we're going to react to the last game because that was an absolute dumpster fire and we just laid it all out here. But it's on the timeline and we talk about the Heat.
And it might be less than 140 seconds tomorrow.
No, it might be less than 0 seconds. I'm not going to be here. Like,
by the way, I watched the postgame all the time. I love Gad's graphics. Like, you don't have one, for us today, right?
Culture minutes.
Yeah, the culture minutes.
Shame
today, Deadman did have those culture minutes. Like,
absolutely. As always, he's in the culture rafters for me.
Culture Hall of Fame, right next to Gabe Vincent.
No. He's not there yet. He'll get Deadman's one of a kind. He's one of one.
First ballot?
No, Deadman first ballot.
Oh, Deadman first ballot. Gabe.
Yeah.
Oh man, I never thought I'd see the day. Gadiel Cartagena.
It's a new
Brian,
me.
You changed.
Yeah, he's changed. You're different. I don't know you anymore. Brian, talk about walkouts and knockouts.
Walkouts and knockouts is I was going to say TV show. It's not a TV show. This is the internet.
Soon to be.
It is a podcast with Ariel Atias and our very own Jonathan Ramlakan. They talk about the great sport of fighting. As I've mentioned before, fighting is really entertaining because personally, we all like to see people punch each other in the face, right? So if you like seeing people punch each other in the face, you should listen to Walkouts and Knockouts. I believe there is a UFC event this weekend, which means there will be an episode. Is there not?
I don't think so.
I thought they had events every weekend.
Yeah, most weekends. No, the next one is June 5th.
I would have said the same.
They did this just for you, Brian. They're like, no, we're gonna make sure we don't have a fight this
All right,
weekend.
it's in 2 weekends.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Dana White
2 weekends.
personally watches this show and was like, nah, we're gonna go schedule shit.
No, I don't know. I thought that they had one every weekend, but in 2 weeks and there will be a show. So I think that you guys should check it out because if you're gonna watch people punch each other in the face, you want to have context knowledge of what's going on, how people are punching each other, how they're kicking each other, how they're grappling, all that good stuff. Knowledge is power. Check out Walkouts and Knockouts in 2 weeks.
I will say this, by the 9-minute mark in the first quarter, I did feel like going knocking on my neighbor's door and assaulting him. So.
Is he a Bucks fan? Is he from Wisconsin? Because I feel
the Wisconsin area.
But I know he's not a Heat fan. I know that. I'm suspicious that he is a Knicks fan.
Oh,
Gadiel Cartagena has went to sleep on the stream. Ariel Atias, talk about the full court press.
Full Court Press is a NBA show. We talk general NBA. It's myself, Gadiel Cartagena, and Marco Romo. The next episode will be tomorrow, actually. We're doing it at 6:30, right, Gad?
With who?
Sorry?
With who?
Oh, no. I'm getting there. We're going at 6:30 tomorrow, though, right? I just want to make sure I got the time right.
Sources can confirm.
Sources confirmed. We're at 6:30 with special guest, Powerful. This shit is trash, as his display name suggests, also known as Royal A. Shepherd. He will be guesting on the Full Court Press tomorrow. We're going to talk, NBA playoffs. We're going to, recap some of the action from this past weekend and maybe look forward. So you don't want to miss that. Again, tomorrow on the 5 Reasons YouTube channel, Full Court Press, myself, Marco Romo, Gadiel Cartagena, special guest Royal A. Shepherd, 5 Reasons YouTube, 6:30.
Alfredo Arteaga, you can talk about fight week on 5 and 3 yards per carry.
Well, yeah, fight week on 5 is whenever it presents itself. Whenever there's actually a fight worth talking about on a Saturday. I think there's one in a couple of weeks. And 3 yards per carry, we do our last one this coming Wednesday, and then we have a 3-week hiatus for the Heat playoffs. And the last show, I made a joke about Colin Cowherd that fell kind of flat because Colin Cowherd said that it was going to take LeBron 30 games to win the title this time around. And I will admit, when he said it was going to take him 30 games, I actually started counting the games in my head. So that's why I picked the Heat in 30 the last time. But no, it doesn't look like it's going to be Heat in 30.
Suns in 5.
I mean, it sounds like that 3-week break that y'all were planning for the Heat playoffs is going to fall flat, too. Yeah, I'm telling you, just going to be smoking cigars on the back porch, kicking your feet up and shit. That's just not going down. I don't know when the fuck the next time the clutch corner is. Stop asking me. Thank you, Christian Cardus, for the $1.99. Don't know. He said, oh, my God. Greek cheeks and booty holder finna get clapped game 3.
Who is? Oh, never mind.
Now we're talking.
That's what I'm talking about. Like Christian Cardus, the man. So,
by the way, let me say something. It's just an observation. The Bucks. Have you seen the new arena by the sky? Like the sky view of their new arena.
I didn't know they had a lake.
It's a giant brown oblong thing. It looks like a turd.
It's in Wisconsin. Everything looks like a turd.
Like who decided to make a giant, like football-shaped brown building in the middle of Milwaukee?
The same people who decided to make cheese a mascot of a football team. That's my favorite team, by the way. I just want to throw that out there. So, as always, thank you guys in the comments for making the show much more fun than it would have been without you. Thank you to the people joining me on the panel, Gadiel Cartagena, Ariel Latias, Simba of Sports. I'm going to tell them your real name one day, Simba. Brian Young, and the great Alfredo Arteaga. We'll see you guys on Wednesday. Play the video, Alejandro.
Thursday.
Beautiful.